All right.
Good evening for those just joining us. We're going to get started in about 2 more minutes. I want to give people some time to join. I know everyone's probably finishing dinner or doing some things at home, so I want to give everyone time to jump in. So bear with us for a couple of more minutes.
We had like what, 100 and almost 200 people sign up for this for today, and that was super exciting.
Yeah, I was excited to see that too.
Okay, Ayana, I see you as a co-host, and you're right. I don't see a way to spotlight you. Interesting. Oh, I can pin you maybe. Show that.
All right, just 1 more minute, and we'll go ahead and get started. I want to make sure we respect you all's time this evening. But I want to just give a couple of more, 1 more minute now, just to let people join that may be a little tardy for the party.
We got you, Ayana. We have our team. The dream team is in place.
All right, I think we should go ahead and get started. We got about 40 participants right now. I'm sure more people will be joining as we go along. So I will kick us off. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lepre George. I am the Senior Director of Chapters, Members, and University Relations at the National Headquarters of National Black MBA. I want to welcome you all to tonight's webinar. Should be a great conversation all around. I've been with National Black about 4 years now. And one thing I always hear from members across the board is, how can I get more involved? While I know our local chapters do a great job of making you aware of what's available locally, I want to make sure that we can have a large gathering of several chapters, several chapter leaders, to be able to share their expertise and experiences around what it means to be a truly engaged member of National Black MBA. So there are obviously some hard set roles within the association, local chapters. You have a president. There's usually a VP of operations or administration, secretary or treasurer. Those are kind of the concrete top tier kind of leadership positions. But within that, there still needs to be support around all of those different areas. And as you all know, we are a nonprofit. Everything that we receive from our local chapters is done on a volunteer basis. And I cannot thank them enough for all their efforts outside of their personal lives to make time for our members in our association. And so with that, I want to just make sure that everyone that's here is aware that the work that you will be doing is obviously on a volunteer basis, but the rewards that you receive are long, profitable, long-standing, and just really make you a more engaged member with a larger network of influence within your circle. So with that, I won't keep talking. I want to really just kind of level set things, and I'm going to turn things over to someone in a moment, but during the evening, you'll get several instructions on what's happening, so you'll know exactly what you're doing next. And I'm gonna fall back and let the true leaders and the true experts be able to step forward and speak and share their expertise in that regard. So to help lead our conversations and help lead the different breakouts we'll have later today, I want to introduce Tracy Herrera. Tracy is the current president of our Seattle chapter of National Black MBA. If you've been a member for a while, you've likely seen her hosting sessions or doing something exciting for the association. So who better to have this evening than Tracy Herrera to lead out this conversation. So Tracy, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. I'm just so excited. First of all, I'm excited, and let me say thank you also to the presidents and officers, volunteers for the other chapters. So thank you all for being here, and thank you as members. Thank you for being here as well. And I know there's a lot of people here who are just kind of curious, how can I get more involved? Let's pause and recognize we've been in the middle of a pandemic. We kind of all have our plates full. So let's acknowledge that. And what I love about the theme for this year for Black MBA, it's renew, refresh, and reset. That's the theme for the year. That's the theme for the conference. So let's renew, refresh, and reset our idea of what being involved in this organization means to you and what it can mean for our community. So I'm going to introduce myself. Like you said, I am Tracy Herrera. I'm president of the Seattle chapter of the Black MBA. I'm also president of an organization called It's All Bigger Than Me Consulting. And part of what I do is it's about changing the world. It's about equity and inclusion and making things better. And what I love about this organization is that I learned about Black MBA as a student in college, as one of the only Black students at the College of Business at the University of Florida. And so I've been involved in the organization for 25, 30 years. I won't tell you exactly how old I am, but decades. And it's been so amazing to not only receive the benefit of Black MBA, but also be a part of it. So that's the two questions I'm going to ask each of these leaders are, why are you involved in the organization? So for me, it's a call to action. I must be involved. This is what I was meant to do. This is an organization that has the largest, oldest professional organization in the nation. So for me, that's critical. So why am I involved and why should each of you be involved? Is because I think now is a time where in our country, we each must drive change. We must be a part of true, real systemic change. And the Black MBA is an organization that really can help us to do that. So no more for me. Now I'm going to ask those same two questions to the leaders here. And again, the questions are, who are you? Why are you a part of this organization? And why should others be involved? Why should others be more engaged in the National Black MBA? And so I'm going to start with, and as you guys know, we have 4 topics, 4 breakout rooms and areas of discussion. Each of these individuals could probably talk about multiple areas, but we're focusing on 4 areas today. And the first is marketing and communications. The second area is finance and fundraising, also critical to this organization and any organization. The third is this concept of leaders of tomorrow. And we'll talk about what that is in a second, but it's core to who we are investing in youth for our future. And then the fourth is this idea of programming. This is one of the programs, but there's a variety of programs that chapters offer. So the leaders that are talking to you today are going to talk in different address these different functional areas, and then they're going to go into different breakout rooms. So as you're listening, think about the transition when we go into the breakout rooms. What do you want to learn more about? And if you don't know anything about that, the beauty of Black MBA is we're all volunteers, so we will teach you. You either bring your expertise, right, and immediately start making impact, or bring an interest and learn how to do that particular function. So it's super exciting. It's a loving, safe space, and we're just going to get right into it. So first area is marketing and communications, and the first leader is Tyrone Ellis from Charlotte.
Hi, Tracy, and good evening, everyone. Excited to be here this evening. So I'm Tyrone Ellis, as Tracy just mentioned, the president of the Charlotte chapter for National Black MBA. Been in that role, gosh, time flies. It's like it's been longer than that, but it's been about a year, or a little bit over a year. In my day job, I'm actually with Train Technologies as an aftermarket engineering leader for the Americas for the company. And so why am I a part of National Black? I tell you, I've been blessed to have some great opportunities in my career, with a STEM undergrad and an MBA, and how that has opened up doors for me in my company and I guess throughout my career. And I've been blessed. And so for me, it's important to be a blessing to others. And so when I think about, the chapter, our members, and to give back has to align with who I am and my personal why. And anytime you align with a nonprofit, you want to make sure it's an organization that aligns with your mission. And National Black does that for me. When I think about the brand, when I think about the number of people that we can touch and continue to help grow in their careers, that's my passion. And so for me, it's a perfect fit, and just to continue to serve and be active, specifically in the Charlotte community and nationally, of course. And so, why should others engage in the organization? It aligns with what I just talked about. It's got to be your personal why. All of us, probably a lot of us on the phone started off with humble beginnings. And if you think about the need that Tracy kind of mentioned at the beginning here of the impact that we could make as an organization. It's just, there's a lot of social justice issues. It's amazing to me some of the challenges that we're still dealing with. I had a conversation with someone today about their elevator pitch and how we continue to brand, continue to grow people with understanding their brand as a person, as a chapter. Those kind of things are important to me when it comes to marketing communication. So we're going to talk about that some in the breakout room, but we won't get into that right now. But we're just thankful to have this opportunity. And again, I challenge all of us to engage in the organization.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I was going to bring in Maisha. Let's see how quickly I can bring her in. Let me pin Miss Maisha Robertson. Is your camera on, my dear?
Yeah, I have two on because somehow I ended up as the host and letting people in at the same time.
Okay, well, can you spotlight yourself? Because I just spotlight your
you see the one. It won't let me do it on my at all on either one.
Move on. So I'll move on. We'll figure it out technology wise. I'm going to move on to the topic of fundraising and financing. I'm going to ask Daryl Joyce to answer the same question. I'll figure you out while he's talking. Daryl, tell us a little bit about who you are, why you're involved in Black MBA, and why others should engage.
Thank you. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you. Welcome, everybody, for joining us tonight. My name is Daryl Joyce. I'm the president of the Memphis chapter. I've been actually a resident of Memphis for 5 years. Previous to moving to Memphis, I'm born and bred Detroiter. What up, though, for all my friends out there. So I actually had a chapter position and leadership there as well. And I mean, that tells you something. I've moved states and joined this organization. And so it really comes to the fact that, like many of you, I came from a STEM background, went to the University of Michigan, was a chemical engineer, changed over to chemistry. There was only one Black chemistry student at the University of Michigan that graduated every other year. Very few of us. And so it was organizations like NSBE and Novashay that kind of helped me go through it. Fast forward, I'm in the medical device sales, same thing, very few of us. And then when I got my MBA, same story, here it comes again. And so it was with the National Black MBA that I felt a family, I felt support, there was a village. And I strongly believe in the Zulu concept of Ubuntu. I am because we are. And that's really, really what the National Black MBA has meant for me, is that no matter living in Detroit, living in Memphis, I've noticed our people need exposure. We need to continue to reach back. Our board chairman, Donald Comer, who was the vice president at FedEx, he always says there's always a time for learning, earning, and then sharing. And it is very important that we continue to do that. Some people even talk about having your time, your talents, and treasures, sharing that. And so hopefully all of you can enjoy tonight. Hopefully we'll see some of you at conference. Again, the Village, I haven't missed one since like 2013, Atlanta or so. So it is definitely a great time to recharge. And again, as we talk about your time, your talents, and your treasures, we'll talk a little bit about that when it comes down to finance and fundraising later on today.
Thank you. All right, Miss Maisha, how are you?
Maisha Robertson. I am good. I don't know which one I'm on.
So we see you looking gorgeous. So we're going to ask you to introduce yourself. Tell us again who you are, why are you part of Black MBA, and why should others engage?
Okay, so this is who I am. By day, Director of Operations for Collective Impact Organization, nonprofit, president of the San Francisco Bay Area chapter, and every Wednesday and Saturday, the Zumba instructor that does Afro-Caribbean classes. So today I am the operations director who just did an interview panel and the Zumba instructor who has to do class directly after this meeting. So that's who I am. And the reason I got started, the reason I joined the National Black MBA period is the resources. The reason I decided to become the president is to keep this great chapter in the Bay Area up and lift up all the people that I've met in my life throughout, Sacramento and Oakland that don't know about the organization itself. Coming from Sacramento, born and raised, I didn't know much about the organization until 3 years ago when I moved to Oakland. It's just something you don't hear about out there. And so my whole mission is to make sure that people know who we are, know what the resources that we have, the reach that we have. And my personal mission in life is just to always connect my people, my community, to resources and to a network. And so that's the reason I got started in this organization. That's why I'm here. And that's what I love doing. So besides my 17 other jobs that I do, this is what I love doing. So yeah, I take the time out of my day to speak to anybody who's interested in our organization. Hi, Otis, I see you here. He's one of our new members who joined last week. And so yeah, for me, it's just about, making the time to speak to people about what we do, who we are, and the resources that we have, and just giving back to the community any way I can.
Love it. Thank you so much. That's beautiful.
Welcome.
Miss Candace Dixon, she's part of my leadership team. You look amazing. So can you also introduce yourself, tell us who you are, and also why should others engage? And I'm gonna have a special moment here. When I first met you, what you described about your why to join my leadership team, I was like, oh, you're all in. So just talk to us. Tell us why it's so important.
Wow, it is so important because the collective community really is everything for us. We know as Black, brown, colored people that, we are best when we're together, when we're collective, and we're sharing our talents and our skills. We have, so many issues that we need to tackle. And if we bind together, form communities, be a part, support our not-for-profit organizations. When you see the word Black, national, or national and Black together, that tells you this is a place where you want to be. We are national all over the world. We're, coming from the East Coast, Atlanta, South, Midwest. But that collective energy is powerful. It is extremely powerful. It took Tracy Herrera, maybe 15 minutes to convince me to be a part of the National Black Association. And it really is about community for me. And it's about the collective impact. I know there's power in this room, and I want to be a part of the force and the energy that takes us forward as people. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to meet everybody on the call. I'm excited to talk to you, but that is truly my mission, is to gather with my people and be a part of the force of change in this world.
Love it, love it, love it. The force for change.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Miss Ayana Cummings, how are you? Also another member of my leadership team. Ayana, just tell us a little bit about who you are and why you're involved and why. And you're in Atlanta and you're part of the Seattle team. So just so that you guys know, we are officially, leveraging resources wherever you are. So we're open.
Worldwide, Tracy.
Yes.
Tracy is so good at getting people to do whatever she asks them to do. Thank you, Tracy. And hello, everybody. I am so honored and delighted to be here today. I am Ayana Cummings. I hail from Atlanta, Georgia originally, but I have lived in other places. I completed my doctoral coursework at the City University of New York in Manhattan. I went to Hampton University undergrad, and I got my MBA at Clark Atlanta University. So I am a Panther. And just wanted to let you know, I am now Director of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Justice at Compass Group at Microsoft. My official title is Diversity and Inclusion, but they've allowed me to modify that to incorporate some other aspects of our collective responsibility and accountability for other things in relation to those items. And so why am I a member of the National Black MBA? I had a very isolating experience as the only Black woman in my PhD cohort. There were about 6 in our class or cohort, and I was the only African-American. And there were all types of negative, pejorative types of comments made to me about the fact that I was a magnet presidential scholar, which was a reserved scholarship for minorities at that time. Anyway, as a part of that experience, I also had an apprenticeship with an executive coach in that Manhattan area. And he used to say things to me that were offsetting, so to speak, about identity and about how I couldn't have been a full Black woman, despite the fact that both of my parents are Black and I identify as an African American. And so I decided at that point that I would go back to get my MBA and that I needed to go back to the HBCU experience to be nurtured again, because it had been so traumatizing, I think, to me. You know, we talk often about this idea of refresh, reset, renew. And that piece really strikes me as something that's relevant to mental health. And so I had to guard myself in that way by going back and seeking nurturance. And I found so many mentors and so many capable Black men and Black women who were about business and who were about collective economic and social empowerment for our people. And it was a responsibility that I felt I had, not only to study executive minority career development and collect data on it, but also to implement those ideas and to nurture the practice of seeking out professional and career development opportunities for my people, not only for myself, but to, as you say, lift as we climb. And so I found that space in the Leaders of Tomorrow program. I have also been teaching simultaneously, you know, doing my doctoral coursework. Of course, they offer you opportunities to teach. And so I have the opportunity to interact with multiple cultures and ideologies and things like that in the classroom, in psychology in particular. And it is something that I think is necessary. I still straddle that fence between academia and corporate America. I still teach at Southern New Hampshire University. I'm still doing postdoctoral coursework at, or not coursework, but postdoctoral research, if you will, at Georgia Institute of Technology here in Atlanta. And I still study racial bias in performance appraisal systems or recruiting systems and things like that. But it's the practice of these things that we're able to do in reaching back and pulling up the leaders of tomorrow into, you know, mentoring opportunities that get them to surpass us, surpass us in terms of the level that they can achieve with the right type of foundation and nurturance. And so I saw that guidance in my own life, having graduated from the Atlanta public school system and grown up in a predominantly African-American community in Southwest Atlanta. And I felt it was my responsibility and incumbent upon me, because unto whom much is given, much is required. And so that is why I am here with Leaders of Tomorrow and working with Tracy and so many of you in these efforts. So I'm so grateful to you for this opportunity and happy to engage in this discussion.
Thank you so much. Did you guys hear, did you hear what she just said as far as all the things she's doing? These are some of the hardest working people in America, yet we still find time to do this work. So if you're busy, yes, and so are we, do you have a heart to serve? Do you want to be a part of change? So thank you, Miss Kiana. Going to you. Can you please tell us, who are you and why are you a part of Black MBA and why should others engage?
For sure. Thanks, Tracy. My name is Kenyana David, and I am in Buffalo, and I'm the current president of the Western New York chapter. I am a full-time entrepreneur and a part-time professor at a local college here. And I am a member of this organization and have been since 2017. And I joined because I wanted to hear the conversations that were happening at the table and ultimately contribute to them. So in Buffalo, in a lot of the rooms, I am the only one. And the table, even though I'm sitting at the table, for me, the conversations weren't what I needed at the time. And the National Black MBA allowed me to be at the table, for one, and then also to have a safe and a brave space even to grow as a professional. So that's why I am part of the organization. And for others, I encourage you because it is the table. It's where the conversations are happening. You have the space to initiate the conversation, to participate in the conversation, to bring others to the conversation. So I encourage everyone to try it out. Go to a chapter meeting, participate in an event. I've participated in different roles in the organization. I joined in 2017 and I've been everything from an active member to VP of Communications, VP of Operations, and ultimately president. And I wouldn't change not one day. So that's why I'm a part.
Wow. Did you hear that? She wouldn't change one day. I don't know if I would go that far. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. Miss Starla, how are you? Can you introduce yourself? Tell us who you are and why is being a part of Black NBAA so important?
Absolutely. Thank you so very much, Tracy. Good evening, everyone. My name is Starla Trigg, and I currently serve as the chapter president for the Indianapolis chapter. I am in my second term as president. I joined many years ago as a student member, received a scholarship from the Indianapolis chapter, and I think I have held almost every position in our chapter except for maybe 4. So I'm all in when it comes to National Black MBA Association. And for me, it's because of the family atmosphere. I think many people mentioned that, the available resources, the opportunity to meet and be around people that look like me, because to me, it's ultimately absolutely important. Why I think others should be engaged now more than ever. It's so important for us to come together collectively to ignite change. And I think that this organization is one that can really have a footprint in terms of what's going on in our nation. Because if not us, then who? If not now, then why? So thank you very much. I'm looking forward to this evening because I know it is going to be dynamic and fantastic.
I love it. Thank you so much. I get excited when my people drop it like that. If not us, then who? If not now, then when? It really is our responsibility. Miss Kimberly Saunders in Central Florida, my hometown. I'm from Orlando, so I get really excited to see my sister doing it in Orlando. Can you also share with us, Kimberly, who you are? Why should others get engaged and why are you engaged?
Yes, thank you so much. And good evening to everyone. I am Kimberly Saunders from the city beautiful, Orlando, Florida. And just a little bit of background about me. So I grew up as a military dependent. I don't like to say military brat, but military dependent. And I actually did 2 tours with my parents overseas, having graduated from high school in Germany. Came back to go to the best HBCU in the country, Florida A&M University. And I will say that my first semester was a culture shock. I was a student athlete, so I was on academic and athletic scholarship, but it was a culture shock to me. And I think that if I did not have the family that I established playing collegiate athletics, I probably would not have made it, only because, I was used to only being 1 or 2 in the classroom that looked like me. And so now to be around so much Black excellence, right? It was actually a culture shock to, I hate saying that, but it was. And I made it through. It was absolutely one of the best decisions that I made. I did my undergraduate and graduate degree there. I stayed there for 6 years. I didn't want to leave. I stayed there for 6 years. And once I left there, I moved to Orlando. I started out in the pharmaceutical industry for about 5 years. For the last 10 years, I have been as a financial advisor. And a couple years, I took that leap of faith and I went out as an independent advisor. And I am also an adjunct professor of finance as well. So that's a little bit about me professionally. I found out about National Black MBA as a student. And then unfortunately, coming out as a professional, I wasn't as involved. I got into, being a part of so many other organizations that it got to the point, probably around 2014, I said, I have to get some things off my plate. I was spreading myself too thin. And I said, there's really 1 or 2 organizations that I really need to focus my efforts. And National Black MBA was at the top of my list. Just like some of, my fellow chapter leaders, it was all about the mission and the vision. And then it was also about longevity. this is an organization that regardless of your phase of life, there is something for you. From starting out, you know, if you have a young student, a youth, in our Leaders of Tomorrow program, all the way up through retirement, where you can continue to give back and mentor, there is something. They cater to not just professionals, but entrepreneurs. So I just love, love, love the fact that regardless of where I was, regardless of where I am now, and regardless of where I'm going, National Black MBA has something for me. So if anyone is from Central Florida, is located in Central Florida, feel welcome to reach out to me. I'd love to connect with everyone and love to have you get involved.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So the next transition that we're going to make, let me just do a quick pin here, and then we'll let Lepre, make sure you bring back everyone else who's speaking. So we're going to transition to the next question. Before we go into the breakouts, we're going to talk to each of these leaders about the functional areas that exist within the National Black MBA Association. As I mentioned earlier, there's 4. We're going to talk about marketing and communications. We're going to talk about finance and fundraising. Leaders of Tomorrow, they call it LOT, Leaders of Tomorrow, if you haven't seen that term before, and then also programming. So we're going to start right back from the top, and we're going to bring in both Tyrone and Maisha. And we're going to ask you two to tell us a little bit about, I'll replace the pen, and if you can bring in Tyrone. Maisha, while we're bringing in Tyrone, can you go ahead, there he is. Can you bring on and talk to us a little bit about add pen, there you go. Working the system, marketing and communication. Why is that functional area so important? And if people don't know anything about what that is or what that would look like, just tell us a little bit about what you're going to talk about in the breakout room. And Maisha, we'll start with you.
No problem. So again, Maisha Robertson, the San Francisco Bay Area chapter of National Black MBA. But marketing and communication is very important to all of our chapters because it's our visibility. It's how people know who you are. It's what gives them the awareness of who we are. It gives them the resources of what we are trying to communicate to our audience, whether it's our members or our broader network. But that's where it starts. Tyrone, I like keeping it super short because I know we have to get to breakout rooms. So Tyrone, I'll let you jump in.
Yeah, no, great comments, Maisha. I think the only thing I would add is, to me, I think it's the heart of what we do as a chapter. I mean, without that proper discipline when it comes to marketing communications, I mean, you don't impact the community that we're all here to serve. And so, that's why it's so critically important. And there's just so much learning you can take from this area, in addition to not only just for the chapter, but also personally, as I mentioned, around how you tell your story in a concise way that can help you grow as a leader, which correlates to how we grow as a chapter and impact what we do in the community. So I'll leave it there. Leave it there, Tracy.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Now let's talk a little bit about. I'll remove these pens. Remove pen and spotlight. Candace, we're bringing you on with Daryl now to talk about financing and fundraising. Let me try that again. Add pen. There you go, the dynamic duo. There's so many things that people can do to be engaged with National Black MBA Association. These are just 4 of the topics. But what does it mean to be involved in fundraising or finances? What does that look like? And why is that so important? Candace, I'll start with you.
Okay. Well,
actually, I'll start with Daryl. Let me start with Daryl. Let me give him a.
Okay.
I'll start with Daryl, and I'll come back to you. You can be there.
All right. Well, I'm trying to keep it short and sweet, but I mean, I think with anything, where you put your money is where your passion is at. And so, again, and we're MBA. So, I wasn't an accounting major, but I'm sure all of our chapters have one, and so I don't want to have that money wrong. So we definitely have to be fiscally responsible. As you heard Lepre mention, this is a nonprofit organization, both nationally and at the chapter level. So we need funds to continue. We need funds to continue, as I mentioned before, to support and help expose some of our youth, like LOT, to all these different opportunities. So we definitely need that. But I think the cool thing is that it allows us to tie in and partner with other companies in our community. And that's really important, is that this is how we partner with them to do great things.
Love it, love it, love it. Miss Candace, you're my VP of Finance. And I know we're starting to talk about, the importance of fundraising and why is all that so important? And anything else you want to share about what you guys are going to talk about in the breakout room?
Yeah, I mean, fundraising is really at the heart of our organization. We all know we live in a capitalistic society. So without like a healthy fundraising strategy, making sure that we are all paying our membership dues at the highest level. One of the interesting things about the association is that there's levels of engagement that each member can have. So making sure that we're, engaging at that level, like exactly where we are. If we're a professional entrepreneur, that's the membership plan, if you will, that you want to purchase. But the fundraising piece to keep our services and our programs going, it's just critical to what we do and how we operate.
Love it. Thank you so much. Love it, love it, love it. So the next topic we're going to talk about, again, we'll go deeper into each of these, and you guys can ask any questions you have during the breakout rooms. We're going to now talk about Leaders of Tomorrow, and I think that's probably the most core element, one of the core programs within the organization. So for Leaders of Tomorrow, we're going to be bringing in Ayana and Kenyana. There you go. Hey, Kenyana. Tell us a little bit about Leaders of Tomorrow. Why is that so important to this organization? What is it, first of all, for those who may not know? And then why is it so important to the organization?
Sure. So the Leaders of Tomorrow is our leadership development program or approach for high school students, freshmen through seniors. And we focus on areas of leadership, financial literacy, college prep, career prep, and lifestyle. And it's really important because, one, these are the people that will be members and leaders of the organization now that we're in, but it prepares them, it gives them the resources, the tools, the support, the direction that they need to navigate beyond high school and help them make decisions for their adult lives. So it's a really important program. It's a very hands-on program, really interactive with the children or with the youth.
Love it. Thank you so much. I love that. Now, the next topic we're going to go to is the concept of programming. So we're going to bring on Starla Trigg and Kimberly Saunders to talk about programming.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much, Tracy. To me, programming is one of the largest ways that we are able to provide a positive and extremely high return on investment to our membership. I think it's one of the ways that we can easily keep our members engaged, especially when the programming centers around things such as education, careers, leadership, entrepreneurship, and of course, economic prosperity. So with the area of programming, we're able to do a lot.
I love it. I love it. I
Absolutely.
love it.
And just to add to what Starla said, programming is really the foundation of this organization. And one of the things when it comes to engagement, and this is why it's so important, is because we not only need the feedback from what our members are looking for, but we also establish pipelines. One moment you could be providing feedback as to the type of programming that you have a need or want for. And at the next moment, a couple years down the line, you could actually be leading some of that dialogue just because of, your experiences and your expertise. So, programming is very, very important, and it comes full circle a lot of times for the individuals that, you see on the screen. A lot of the leaders within the organization, oftentimes they come back to provide some of that also important, those programming topics that are needed.
Love it. Thank you so much. Now, what we're going to do next, so thank you all so much. We're continuing to monitor the chat. If there's any questions holistically, you can feel free to add those in. But right now, we're going to actually transition to the breakout rooms. And LaPree is going to help us showcase these beautiful individuals. Each of the individuals are gonna, if you wanna go into the marketing breakout room, you're gonna go there with Tyrone Ellis and Maisha. If you wanna go into the finance and fundraising, you're gonna go into that room with Daryl and Candace. To talk about leaders of tomorrow, it's going to be Ayana and Kenyana, and programming will be Starla and Kimberly. And then you can go into ask any question that's really going to be about hearing from each of you. So we're asking you to self-assign, and we're going to let LaPray George talk about what that means. LaPray.
Yes, thanks, Tracy. So I've opened up all the breakout rooms. There are 4 breakout rooms, as Tracy just mentioned. So you should have a message on your screen that shows the 4 rooms by title. Just click into, I think join is the option that allows you to go into the breakout room. And you also have the option to return back to this main room at any point in time. So we'll go into breakout rooms for about 30, maybe 45 minutes or so to give us time to come back and kind of rehash our conversations. So at this time, we're going to ask our breakout room moderators, chapter leaders, to go into their respective rooms and then have you all, our participants, to do the same thing.
Love it. And again, at the end, we're going to ask each of you to, we're going to have the breakouts to really report out on best practices, lessons learned. And these are continuing and ongoing conversations. So we'll see you back shortly. Thanks.
All right, so it looks like people are going in rather quickly. Got a few more. This is good.
My invitation disappeared. Can you put it back up?
Is that Otis? Yes, sir. Let me see if I can get you here.
Thank you, sir.
Which room do you want to go to, Otis? I can just put you in.
Marketing communications.
All right. You got a message on your screen?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you. Thank you.
And if you're on and you're not clear what to do, feel free to just speak up. And as you can see, LaPray's going to work it out. He'll put you where you need to go and bring you back.
I think the people who we're seeing on the screen now may have, oh, there we go. They're going in now. So some may have stepped away, but I think we have 4 left.
Perfect. Only 3 people that are unassigned. I love it.
Yeah.
Perfect. All righty. So then I'm going to go visit marketing.
All right. And I think Ayana stepped away. She did send me a note saying she was going to step away for us. So
okay. So which one? She was the leaders of tomorrow. I'll go into leaders of tomorrow then.
Cool.
To back her up.
Okay. Great job, Tracy.
Thank you. I was going to say the same to you. Thank you. Join. Yes.
All right, so we got 1 more minute and we'll bring them back.
Do me a favor, stop the recording again.
Sure.
Really good on time. So as we close out this session, which has been absolutely amazing, what we can do, and have you brought the other rooms back together?
It looks like everyone's here. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So what I would love for us to do is just assume that someone who didn't join this room, this meeting, this particular session, but we've all talked about why Black MBA is so important. There's some other people on this call as well who've talked about, you know, how they've been involved and how they want to get involved with Black MBA. So first thing we're going to do is do a report out from these breakout rooms, right? What did you learn? And we'll ask the leads to share what they talked about from a best practices perspective, any challenges that you wanted to share, but really kind of highlight why you want people to get involved in that particular area. And then we'll ask anyone else who wants to share any reason why you're engaged in the Black MBA and why others should get involved as well. So we're going to start with room number 1 is going to be marketing and communications.
I want to tell you, Tracy, our group was strong, real strong.
Group is strong.
Really strong group. Yeah, great commentary for sure. Maisha, you want to kick us off?
Sure. So best practices that we shared. We talked about. Well, let's go from the last one actually, because the last one is really important. The last thing we talked about was time commitment. So that's on everybody's mind. This is top of mind. So we'll talk about that one. So what we shared with time commitment is like there's Marsha said this best. There's no best way to say that. There's no science to it. There's no science to time commitment. So basically what happens usually is like we try to plan out things that are going on. And so your time commitment really is based on how the organization plans. And so there are times where you probably have, you know, nothing to do during the month for your certain committee. And then there's other times where your committee is on and it's like full time and people are, you know, are in demand. So no real science to it. It just depends on what your organization, your chapter is actually doing. And what programming, what events, what activities that they have going on at that moment in time, and just how you manage your time around that. So if you get enough leeway and you manage it properly, it could be something as minimal as, you know, less than 8 hours a whole month. But it matters. The planning matters. I'll just say that. Do you want to add anything in there?
Yeah, no, you said it well. I think we talked a couple key things around keeping it simple, understanding your audience.
Not there right now, but yes.
Yeah, you did great. Keeping it simple, you know, understanding your audience, by person to understand, and then drive because we got national that's issuing communications, then you got the chapters that's issuing communication. It's important that we, you know, like for our chapter, we got some feedback. Boy, between the two of y'all, it's a lot of communication. And so, you know, what we wanted to do was try to narrow ours in order to, you know, reduce some of that, make it more concise, and also make sure through all our social media outlets we had a common, you know, common messaging around what we were putting out. So I think at the end of the day, I think the key words I wrote down to take away, Maisha, was short, simple, listen, certainly leverage technology. You know, we talked in the right social media outlets based on your audience, and there's no science right to the you know, to this area. It really started out in planning with a proper amount of time is actually pretty minimal you get really high quality in your marketing communications.
Yeah. And then the last thing that we did chat about is you don't have to be super experienced in the area that you're volunteering at. You can start anywhere if you just want to understand more about a certain committee, about a function. You could be in that committee and start there and learn. That's what we're here for. Is to help people learn, because who knows, like you might learn something and then decide that you want to pivot your career into that same field. So that's a huge opportunity that you have when you volunteer for our chapters is being a part of any of these committees can help you like pivot your career at any time.
Love it, and love it. Thank you both so much. Anyone else from your team want to share anything? I'm actually going to, the pair of you taking them, you're gonna add the new group. So the next group we're gonna talk to, I'll just remove your spotlights. Excellent. And we'll bring on Daryl, Joyce, and Candace Dixon. Just a recap for what you guys talked about during the breakout, specifically focused on finance and fundraising. I jumped in there. You guys were in it to win it.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Why is this so
I'll
important?
definitely share a little spotlight, Daryl. I'll mention a few things and then I'll pass the mic over to you. But when we wrapped up, Tracy, we had very interesting conversation around building conference and leadership programs to enhance the sponsor retention, right? So making sure that our programs support retention of our sponsors, mentoring and leadership training. Another point, another best practice that we had identified was on a local level, making sure that our financial statements, balance sheet, income statements, things that are very important to accountants are solid. We want to make sure that the national brand is being protected through fiscal responsibility and that we keep our sponsorships coming in. So having those sound financial statements are key to our sponsorships. Now I'll turn it over to Daryl.
Yeah, and I think that was big. We talked about the financial responsibility, but all of our chapters are held to a certain rubric. LaPray makes sure we all fill out our scorecards and our report cards, and so there's certain things and metrics that we say we have to have, and that is, the first few things is your strategic plan, which, Carol kind of brought that up and, she didn't even know about that, but, we actually have to have our bylaws, our strategic plan, but also looking at our financial measurement. How healthy are we as a financial chapter? And it includes a growth measure. So not only do we need to grow financially, we need to grow with our membership as well. And so that is in there, and it is really and come with this strategic plan on how we're going to get to these next levels of growth. So we talked about that early. Joyce was on, she's got my last name as her first name, and she was a wonderful storyteller, a fundraising guru in her own right. I enjoy listening to her, but she made some very good points, is that in order for us to have donor continuity, which I thought was just amazing, you talk about how do we keep having these partnerships with these companies year after year after year. We have to be fiscally, responsible, but also we have to make sure we're aligned with their brand. And it's something that we continue to evolve and, innovate with and really bring them in. So that was something I thought was extremely important. And then kind of one of the things that we kind of ended on, as Candace mentioned, is Kevin had a lot of great feedback coming from one of our newest chapters in Maryland. It's just talking about retention, again, how we can use fundraising to partner with these organizations to not only, help them out with their retention, but, to Joyce's point, that's one of their internal issues. And so how we can develop programs that empower them to, work through their retention issues. So it was a really great conversation we had that could have went on for probably another 30 minutes or so. I enjoyed it.
I love that. I love it. Well, thank you all so much. Again, I just wanted to add it on the topic of fundraising and financials. We all have a responsibility and an opportunity to give both individually and through your corporate giving. So when you give through corporate giving, it's typically doubled, right? There's a double match. So just know that as year end is coming on, many people are looking for ways that they can contribute to this process. And one way is for you to give to your organization and reach out to your organization to give to Black MBA. No better place to give. If you don't have the time, we appreciate the funding for sure. Next, we're bringing on, we're going to talk about, thank you, Miss Kiana. Dr. Ayana, just call her by her real name, Dr. Ayana Cummings, is my D&I lead, but also my lot director, and she had to drop. So I'm going to join the conversation with Miss Kiana about Leaders of Tomorrow. And I did jump into that conversation a little bit, and tell us a little bit about your report out, Kiana.
All right, so thank you. We talked about how the programs are similar, how they're run similarly in different chapters, but how there can be twists, some additions based on the leaders of the organization as well as the community, and how different chapters were identifying and recognizing students. Lee, who's the president of the Houston chapter, contribute to the conversation with how they offer scholarships for seniors. You, Tracy, came in and contributed to how you are aligning the students with local guardians or just organizations and residents in the community. Nine gardens, correct? 9 gardens. And that's the Seattle chapter. So we talked about different things that chapters were doing and also different opportunities. There was a member that wanted to talk about adding stocks to the conversation. I'm sorry, I was reading the chat. So that was pretty much our report out. We were really just talking about how the students, how leaders can get involved and different volunteer opportunities that are available, how the students can get involved and the different takeaways for them from the curriculum to the summit and the case competition, and how chapters are experimenting with their curriculum specifically.
Yeah, I love it. One of the things we're also doing in the Seattle chapter with our Leaders of Tomorrow program is we're amplifying a program called Mentor Spaces, which Maisha introduced us to, and we're doing it specifically to build upon our Leaders of Tomorrow, but it's really not for just our Leaders of Tomorrow. We're creating a space for all chapters. And so it is online. It is definitely a national, international opportunity. So more to come on that, but we're creating a space. There's no reason for us to limit, especially during this COVID time, limit the exposure that youth have. We don't have to have 40 or 50 youth in one area. Any youth, no matter where they are, will be able to benefit from the programming that we have, the mentoring opportunity that's online, one-to-many, et cetera. So more to come. I'm super excited about that. So yeah, more to come on that. Lepre, are you ready to move to our next report out group? Excellent. So we can go ahead and bring on the wonderful individuals that we have next. Miss Starla, don't be nodding your head. You know you're wonderful. Look at how cute. So we're going to bring both Starla and Kimberly on. Tell us, give us a quick report out about your breakout room. What was your topic and what were your highlights, your best practices and or challenges?
Our topic was programming, and we were fortunate. I think we had a good discussion. We were also fortunate to have some other chapter presidents in our room who were able to share some of the experiences and some of the things that they were doing in their local chapters, which made for, I think, a very robust discussion. Just a high level, we talked about, as it relates to best practices and the importance of programming. We, of course, talked about how it's really the foundation and the first point of contact that many of our members have as it relates to learning more about the organization. And we discussed the importance of having a pulse on what's going on in your area, your city, your town, knowing the audience for whom your programming is geared, and making sure that the programming that you do put on protects the brand and it's of quality and it's relevant to what's going on. And we talked about how as we're presenting programming, making sure it's also in alignment with what our sponsors are interested in, and how it's a balancing act as it relates to programming, and how it's key that we lean in on our corporate partners. Did I miss anything on that one, Kimberly?
You did not. The only other thing that I had, we talked about capturing speakers. So we did, someone mentioned looking at your local chambers of commerce for potential speakers, especially when the monetary portion becomes an issue, maybe with some of the smaller chapters, and you can't capture the speakers that you would like. Also partnering with other organizations, so that way you have some share of funding there into the caliber and the type of speaker that you would like to use.
Mm-hmm. And then from we also spoke about the challenges that we face as it relates to programming, and how I mentioned that sometimes we're challenged in terms of members want programming, but they're not always willing to give us ideas of what exactly the type of programming they want. And so you're kind of like, okay, well, we'll come up with some things and hope this meets what our membership wants. And then we got into a discussion on the importance of doing, whether it be a survey or some way to capture feedback from the membership in terms of what they want, and being very specific so that you can address the needs of the membership. And we talked, as it relates to that, one of the things that also came up was that of providing an honorarium, I will say, for the speakers who come and present the programming, and how you don't be afraid to say, hey, you know what, we may have a limited budget, or there may be no budget. And many times as you tap into other speakers, sometimes they're so committed and passionate, they'll speak for free. And so you just have to really know the people that you're approaching. And we also talked about having incentives to give members in terms of soliciting their feedback as well. Did I hit most of the things, Kimberly? And Tracy, thank you so very much for the reminder that we were going to have to report out, because I was just participating, and then you said, I was like, oh, okay.
Report out, okay.
Let me take some notes really quick.
I love that.
It was such good discussion. I got caught up.
That's what we want. I love that. I love it. So now we are going to, we're actually going to bring on the gallery view, or basically spotlight everyone. This is how we're going to end today. If you don't want to be on basically a Black MBA commercial, turn your camera off, because what we're about to do is give each person on this call, so turn your camera on. Sorry, I should have said it more affirmatively. If you'd like to be part of an amazing Black MBA, basically commercial, a recap of what you learned today and why people should get involved, then turn your camera on. We're going to spotlight each person. I'm going to start with the presidents and ask you to raise your hand. And then we're going to go through everyone on this call and talk about, again, why should people get involved? Why should someone get involved with the National Black MBA Association? Who wants to start? I'm gonna start with Daryl, because it's in my top right-hand corner. We're gonna put, I know you got this. So everyone raise your hand if you're president or a chapter leader. No, raise your hand, sorry, on the computer. So I'm gonna start this. So this is gonna be a new recording. So I'm gonna pin myself first. This is Tracy Herrera, and what I'm super excited about right now is we're just gonna recap the session from today. We're gonna have each person come on and tell you why they think you should participate and should actively engage in the National Black MBA Association. Now you might be asking, do we know that there's a lot going on in your life? We do. That's why we're focused on renewing, resetting, and refreshing, right? Refreshing our ability to truly engage in the Black MBA. So I'm gonna remove my pen, and we're gonna go to one of our, Miss Kimberly Saunders, you happen to be spotlighted. So we're going to go to you first. So why don't you tell us, Miss Kimberly, why should people engage in the National Black MBA Association?
Absolutely. So as I mentioned before, the National Black MBA Association really caters to you regardless of what phase of your career that you are in. So I just think that there are wonderful service offerings, whether you are a collegiate student, to an experienced or retired professional. There's something for everyone.
I love it. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. We're gonna go right to gallery view again. And let's go to Miss Starla, coming back to you.
All right.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you very
ping
much.
you.
All right. Why should you join? Why should you become active? Why should you engage? Because the National Black MBA Association is one-stop shop. Whether you are early in your career, whether you are an experienced professional or an entrepreneur or a college student, we have programming and activities for you. Lots of resources, a family type atmosphere, and professional development can be found here.
I think she's done that before. I think it's possible that she's done that once or twice before. So we had Kenyana, Miss in Tyrone Ellis.
Great. I love how you worked the N in there, Tracy. That was pretty.
Well, I had to. What does the N stand for? You want to tell us?
Nathan, that's my dad. So we want to, yeah.
I love it. Thank you.
Hey, listen, three things really pop up to me of why you want to be a part of the organization and be involved in the organization. I think it's brand, mission, and changing paradigms. When you think about, if you're going to be involved or connected to an organization, the brand is important. And I think National Black MBA represents excellence, and we try to do that across national and all the chapters. So that's important. Mission, you look at, like the other presidents just mentioned, how we cover the breadth of from high school students all the way through experienced professionals, and have something for all of us is unique. And so I think that is something that is really important. That mission is definitely critical to the success of the organization and why we have the number of members we have. And third, changing paradigms. Unfortunately, you turn on the TV every day, you turn on the news, you're not going to see our story of the people on this call. And so when we walk into that boardroom, into those meeting rooms and whatever circles that we're participating in, a lot of times for a number of us, we're the only African-American or people of color that are in that room. And so I think National Black creates a safe place for us to support each other, but it also again supports changing paradigms, these unconscious biases that are out there, that folks that think that times we're not the great, intelligent people of excellence that we are, and that can really help change, corporations, businesses, and academic environments that can really add tremendous value to the story. So, for me, those are the three things that come to mind.
Love it, and love it. Back to gallery view. Let me hear the voice of Daryl. I think I was going to bring you up before, but we had some technical challenges. So
No problem. So I would say for the last 10 years, I've been consistently involved with the chapter and the conference. And the two things I can say is Black excellence. Black excellence exists in everything that we do. Every webinar, meeting, workshop I've had, I can't tell you there's not been one that I didn't come home with some piece of nugget. And it just speaks to our people, our strength, and the fact that, when it comes down to corporate America, when it comes down to entrepreneurship, we survive, we succeed, we excel, and it's a safe place, as Tyrone mentioned. It is a place where I'm not judged. It's a place where I'm allowed to try, fail, and I'm encouraged to get back up and do it again. And so I think it's just the epitome of Black excellence and feeling like this is safe in a place where people are helping me be stronger, be a better me.
Wow. That was exceptional. Am I allowed to say wow, and wow? Okay. Candace, coming to you. Can you share why and start your statement by saying, why should you engage in Black MBA? And then make your statement for each person who's going to share.
Why should you engage in Black MBA? One of my favorite phrases is your network is your net worth. And so for me, being a part of a group of Black professionals, educated, well-rounded entrepreneurs and individuals that are working in their own profession, that is a strong value, right? That's a strong social value, strong social capital. So if you are looking to connect nationwide with Black professionals, Black excellence, Black National MBA Association is where you want to be.
Love it. Thank you, my dear. Next person I'm going to ask to share is Lee. You turned your camera on. Would you share a little bit, your president as well? Tell us, why should you engage in Black MBA?
Sure, you should engage in Black MBA because of the people in this room, because of the people and the members that are in all of the chapters throughout the country. As many have said, it's all about Black excellence, and we are Black excellence because we are National Black MBA. And just the amazing group of people that are members, are participating and are doing things, and you want to be a part of that. So I'd say that's why you want to join. And in general, National Black MBA, from a national level at the conference, there's so many great things going on at the conference, so many great companies and partners that are involved at the conference. That's another reason to get engaged, to be involved. But on a local level, at each chapter is doing so many wonderful different things to uplift and really improve the lives of its members and their communities. And so I'd say, get involved, figure out where who is the chapter president, who are the members of the chapter in the area that's closest to you, and get involved, because we can use you and you want to be used by us. So
thank you so much. I love that. Kenyana David, can you answer the same question, darling?
Yes, why someone should join?
Why should they, why should people engage? Even if you're a member, maybe you haven't just been involved. Why is it important to engage, and why now?
Well, I think my question would be, why not now? I think there is so much going on, so many conversations happening right now that even if you're not yet ready to contribute to the conversations, being in the space, listening, getting involved at your comfort level, but why not now? Why not now?
Oh, love it, love it, love it. Thank you for that. Now, are there any other chapter leaders? Raise your hand if you want to share. Kevin, I don't know who you are, Kevin Stephen, but you're representing with the Black MBA in the background, so I'm about to call on you. If you're on this, view and you want to speak, raise your hand. I'm not going to call you out unless you have the hand up. So just putting that out there into the universe. Kevin, you don't have a hand up, but you're representing for Black MBA. Are you interested in telling us why people should engage in Black MBA?
Yeah, sure, no problem. And I'm with the Greater Maryland chapter of the National Black MBA. So I was one of the 5 founders of this chapter. Yeah. So I would have to agree with what most people have said here, which is that if you're a person that is really seeking to elevate, then you want to surround yourself with people that will be able to bring you along on that journey. So you get out of this what you put into it. And if you are seeking to really grow as a person, as an individual, and as a professional, then you want to be able to, how does someone say it? Try, fail, try again, and then rise. Then, and I believe that was Daryl Joyce that mentioned that. So I 100% wholeheartedly agree that that's what you want to do as a part of this organization.
Love it, love it, love it. Oh my goodness. I don't see any more hands up. I'm not afraid to call you out. Oh, Miss Marlene Johnson, because you guys were very active in those breakout rooms. So I'm not scared to call you out. Carol, if you don't raise your hand, you might be getting, what do you call volunteered? Thank you for that. Miss Marlene, what would you say to individuals about why they should be a member of, or why they should engage in Black MBA? That's Marlene Johnson.
I think that I would say the reason that someone should become a member of the National Black MBA Association would be because we not only owe it to ourselves, I think we first should look at what we owe to those that have come before us, and then also look at the ones that are coming behind us, so that we have the opportunity to not only shape the conversation, but shape some of the solutions that can help all of us in the areas of economic, academic, of course, the D&I space that has become a major topic in the last 12 to 15 to 18 months. And I just think that with a collective group, we can become champions for excellence in all of the areas that are vision, mission, and all the goals and values that the organization stands for.
Love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much for that. Miss, it looks like Otis Watson. We're gonna ask you to share a little broadcast message for why people should engage in the National Black MBA Association.
Hello, I'm Otis Watson. Why should you engage in the Black MBA Association? Because you cannot afford not to. We are the preeminent Black professional organization in the world. We have the brand, we're professional. When we call a company, they take our call. You need to get involved today. Thank you.
All right. See, I call this intentional but organic. This was not part of the outline, but when you got a flow going, you got to pull it out of my people. I love it. Okay, Marcia Smith. Then I'm going to go to you, Miss Carol. Marcia Smith, same question for you. Tell us, and start with the words, why should you engage the National Black MBA Association?
Why should you engage in the National Black MBA Association? Well, I believe in the statement, there's no place like home. I know that this year and the previous year, we have been struggling to find our place, find our voice, and we need a surrounding body of friends, family, and support system that really helps us to get to where we need to be. We need to understand that we are Black, we're Black in America, and there's challenges. And who do you go and learn from? You learn from your own, you learn from shared experiences, and you learn from individuals that understand who you are. So I encourage you as members of National Black MBA to get involved, to seek out opportunities, because the world's not going to change if we don't change it. And we're going to have to use our voices. And this is a place where you can refine your message. So welcome aboard. Look forward to seeing you. And hopefully this will resonate with you.
Love my people. Marcia, that was lovely. Carol, did I get you already?
Not yet.
Okay, well, your hand went down. I got a little nervous there. I'm like, your name is not on my list and your hand went down. So Carol, I'm gonna ask you to share as well, but I'm gonna go ahead and get the next person who I haven't spoken to. Christine, are you interested in getting your dots together around why people should engage in National Black MBA? Anyone else, turn your camera on. Nick will be the last one, and then LaPray, I'm gonna come to you and then I'll close. Does that work? Christine, are you comfortable? Raise your hand if it's a yes. And if not, I'm going to Carol.
Well, I've been involved on the periphery for far too long. And I encourage everyone, like I plan to do now, to officially join, become a member, and become an active member. I think it's very important to do so because this is a professional community of excellence and resources for any professional who wants to grow a career in excellence. So the National Black MBA is the place for Black professionals nationwide.
Love you. So again, I don't like putting people on the spot. I will lovingly. Oh, Christine, you've accepted the challenge. I love it. Hand is raised. So Christine Valderrama, would you share with us as well, lovingly, why should people engage in the National Black MBA Association?
Why should people engage in the National Black MBA Association? Is because most people feel that we do not matter when we step into a room, and we more than matter. Our ideas, our thoughts, our patterns, and the things that we do are important to everything that we do in this world, and there's no reason we should be overlooked. So stop being overlooked, get involved, get more education, get more experience, and get out there and show everyone what we can do.
I'm just saying, I love my people. Wow, I love you all. Okay, so we got Maisha, LaPray, and then I will close with 8 minutes left. We got this. Anyone else? Hand raised if you want to speak. Turn your camera on. If not, Maisha, my dear, looking like a beauty queen with that rotating background. I don't know what that's all about, but I'm in. Maisha, tell us real quick again, why should people engage in National Black MBA Association?
All right. So this is Oakland in the background. Why people should engage in the national.
Oh, hold on. We're recording this, so you're gorgeous. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, it's not moving. It's the background. Yes. So why people should engage in the National Black MBA? To me, it's pretty simple. If you can grow, you can learn, you can connect. I think it's that simple. So if you're looking to learn, if you're looking to grow, if you're looking to connect with a network, with family, this is the place to be.
I love it. LaPray, I'm actually going to go and then I'll let you in since you have a deeper, more HQ connection, if that works for you. So I will actually spotlight myself for a change. Hello. So this is Tracy Herrera. And just as a recap for today's event, we talked about why it's so important to engage in Black MBA. And each of us, we all have a personal reason. We also have a societal community reason why it's so important to engage. We also talked about how you can engage. There's so many different functional areas and ways you can engage and just bring your talents to the table. So engage because you want to be a part of difference, engage because you want to grow new skills, engage because you want to help others grow, engage because you want to broaden your network, engage because you believe that change is possible. Thank you. LaPray George, on to you.
I don't even know what I could possibly say that hasn't been already said, but I will say that I appreciate the fact that everyone gave such amazing comments. I can hear the passion in your voice. I can hear the expressive and very meaningful and intentional words that you all use to state exactly why it's important to engage, not just join, but to actually engage and be a part of the overall process in the association. So I just want to actually thank everyone for their comments. This is great information we'll be able to utilize and share with others to hear from our members and people that are really kind of boots on the ground. So I won't belabor it anymore. I'll just say thank you all for all of your input, all of your great sharing of best practices. This webinar was all about exactly what happened. I couldn't have planned for this to go any better. Tracy, cannot thank you enough for your leadership and guidance throughout the entire day, and also in the breakout rooms, all of our breakout room moderators. Phenomenal job across the board. I want to remind everyone that you'll receive an email for a survey because we want to get your feedback on these types of webinars and how we can make these even better. Not that this one wasn't top tier, but what more can we do? What other ways can we get members engaged and really provide meaningful topics that people want to talk about? So with that, I will step back and allow anyone to have any final comments or questions that they want to ask to our leadership that's on the call. But again, thank you all very, very much for all of your input throughout the night.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm actually going to jump to another call. I want to say I love you all and thank you so much.
Thank you all. Have a
Tracy.
great night, everyone. Thank you all.
Have a good night, everyone.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.